Welcome to the She Cultivates podcast, where faith, personal growth, and connections come to life. Thank you for joining me on this week's episode. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this podcast and leave a review. All of that helps us to grow. And I'm in this beautiful studio space at High Hill Labs in downtown Orlando, where we are actually having a live podcast event on February 21st. And make sure to join us. Tickets are on sale now, and I'm with the girlies today, which I am so excited. A little different setup tonight. It's during the day. It's fine. We are here. And it feels like the night because we've had a long, productive day. And yes. I'm just so excited to have the She Cultivates team here today. So welcome.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys for coming on. I know that it was kind of last minute. And at the end of the day, we have been seeing each other a lot for the events, life, everything. But I was like, we need to get the girlies on the pod.
Yeah.
So can you guys go around, for those that don't know you, your name, just a little bit about you, what you feel comfortable, maybe what you do within She Cultivates.
Awesome. Well, I'm Nielisa Rivera, mom of two. Happily married.
Yes.
Thankfully. Yes, very happily married. And what do I do for She Cultivates? I'm basically admin operations, a lot of the behinds. If you get an email, that's from me. I'm the face of the email. Yes. Let's put it that way.
Always Nielisa.
Yes.
You keep us organized.
Very.
I tried.
Very.
At least I can keep you guys organized. I try to implement that.
No, you have a gift. We were talking about that.
It's a gift.
Naturally, you just have like
it that way.
1, 2, 3, 4. You're like, this is what I'm doing, keeping us on track. So I love that. Thank you.
I am glad. But yes, and I mean, wherever help is needed, I'm there. So.
Yeah. Appreciate you. How about you, Ashley?
Well, my name is Ashley Crispin. Mom of one. She's 6 months. Married for almost 10 years now, coming on, which I can't believe.
Amazing.
Almost 10 years.
Amazing.
And for She Cultivates, I also do a little bit of the operations and logistics. I help organize the venues, the event, and all of that good stuff. And I have recently taken the ambassador's lead position.
Yes.
So we're starting that this year. And yeah, that's what I do for us. Mm-hmm.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Sibilian Marcelin. I'm happily married to my bestie, mom of one. She's 3, going on 30. So embracing in momhood. At least with She Cultivates, I help a little bit more with like strategy, a little bit more on the back end, thinking more long term to, fund our projects and things like that.
Very important.
Very important. And then a little bit of the website development and things like that with Liz. And yeah, just excited to be here today.
Yeah. All of you guys have been on the podcast in different ways,
Yes.
which is so funny. Now, so this is like a more like, we're all here. We've survived
Together.
2 years working together.
Yes.
So we were all friends before. So I don't think people know the full story of that.
Yeah.
So Stephanie, my sister, Ashley, we met like 2013, which we have an episode. We'll link them. And Nielisa, also around 2013, 2014 in college. And we all just came collaboratively.
And kind of like doing the same thing. You and I were kind of like doing the same thing.
Yeah, we were ambassadors for Valencia College.
Wow.
Look at that. And now
That's
we're
crazy.
doing ambassadors and other stuff. Full circle. So that's probably a big question that people have. It's like, okay, how do you work with your friends that are also maybe family and all of that? So do we still like each other 2 years in?
I still like y'all.
Yeah, I think that's important. Yes. I think there's a balance. So for example, we grew up together. I've known you your whole life, right?
Literally.
So I think in part of like developing and creating something, we've had raw conversations in regards to, I am the older sister and can naturally take a leadership role just because I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
But pushing you to take a leadership role, we've had those conversations. That's like, you need to show up in this way. When you say create, when you say develop something, you know what I mean, from the ground up, the things that you don't sign up for are the leadership things. You know what I'm saying? And cultivating then people and expectations and all of that. So I think that was something that we were able to do. And as your sister, then I was like, these are the things you need to work on to be able to lead in that way.
Yeah. And you had those conversations. And I would always go to Steph and be like, hey, like, I need to have this conversation. And, you know, but like, it was kind of like always like a check-in, like sister versus working together. And I feel like with all of you guys, like, there's a friend talk versus which
I feel am I wearing right now?
And I feel like we've learned also to address it that way. Like, I'm talking to you as a friend right now, or I'm talking to you as your
this.
Sure. Which is needed, you know? And like also checking in with you of like, hey, where are you at? Like in this stage of life, which I know your sisterhood, like your life, what's happening. So it's like checking in to be like, where are you? What do you need? Is there something that you need in this season that's different versus maybe how you started, expectations, you know, things that maybe like come up, right? As you work with people. So that's true. How about you guys?
Well, I think we're not like whenever we're well-rounded. So it's like, it's like business and business needs to get done, but it's just that, like you said, like we still check in with each other. And I think, you know, we're very honest with each other and we have like cultivated that within ourselves. So it's like when we're off or something is coming up and then you're like, I'm not feeling my best, just letting you know so that way we can show up for each other. I feel like we have mastered that. Like we really like, if we know you're feeling a certain way, it was like, okay, we'll take care of this for you. We'll take it off your plate. Like, if you're not feeling your best or you had a rough night, whatever the case may be, like we show up for each other, but we're not afraid of having this conversation, which is what has helped us work as an actual team. So, and I like that. I like that.
For sure.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that we have learned to also bring each other into our lives and to know. So we always let each other know, like, this is what's happening right now with my life. So I'm really struggling at the moment, or I'm fine at the moment. And I think that we have actually cultivated within us a friendship that we have walked through seasons. I mean, for me personally, you guys saw like pregnancy and all of that you guys have walked with me. So I think that cultivating that here to then bring it out to our events was really important because we really have done that ourselves.
Yeah. And that has to start here because it's like, what can you share about to other people? Like, yeah, you should have your community and all of that if it's like you don't even have that, you know? And I feel like in the beginning, it kind of felt, and even myself, it was like a personal growth journey for me. And maybe you guys can share what you've learned of like throughout the time of like stepping in that leadership, but also like being vulnerable when it kind of felt like, okay, we're doing this as like a project, right? So it kind of felt in the beginning, I was like, okay, I have to like always be my best. Like I always have to show up with the best. So I remember there was times where it's like, hey, you could have told me that you like had a terrible night or you're on your period. Like, you know, like those days that it's like, let's be real with each other. Like, hey, like, where are you at mentally? And so I feel like then when we started having those conversations, then I was like, wait, like I'm safe here. Like, why am I trying to like be like, everything's fine. My eyes twitching.
You're like, clearly not okay.
So I feel like, fine. Honestly, these past 2 years have been like a personal growth journey for me to just figure out myself, how I can show up. And also when I do make errors of like figuring out like, hey, like I'm sorry, or like was not my best, so I apologize. So it's been like a lot of growth for me. How about you guys? What areas do you feel like you've grown in?
That's a good question.
I think for me, being able to, in a safe place, say like, it's beyond my bandwidth right now. Like sometimes you don't have that opportunity to do that, like at work. So you just kind of have to just take it on and like go with it. You're going to have to figure it out. But here it's, you know, you're doing something out of passion, out of purpose, you know, out of creativity. So it's like, all right, that's great, but maybe not right now. Can we move that out like a week, a month, whatever the case may be, but better prepared to launch something. I think that's been helpful for me. And also, I think also being able to challenge myself has been like a big thing. It's like, all right, that sounds really good. How can I make that happen? You know what I'm saying? I'm more of like the B through Y person. Like I'm in the middle, right? It's like I want to put that vision to life, right?
Yeah. So like what would be an example? Like the website,
like
or
the website
membership?
Or like membership, or like you know what I mean? Just things like that. Like, okay, great. These are the gaps that we have. Thinking strategically, like how to make that happen, how to, you know what I mean, have, you know, cash flow, or just different things like that. And being that I'm also in school, it's like, all right, putting some of that, you know, into practice, you know, so
business classes coming handy.
Business class 101. So
sure.
just, those have been some things that I've been able to grow and challenge myself in.
I love that.
I think for me has taken many, like I have always had it in me, because like when it comes to event, it's something that I have always done. But it's like, I don't like working by myself. I like working with people because I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. And like where I lack, like I know I can rely on you, I can rely on you, I can rely on you. But for me has been like a lot of like taking myself out of the comfort I put myself in. I felt very comfortable there. I didn't want to make changes. But with She Cultivates, I had to learn. I was like, you sometimes got to push yourself. Like there's more in you that you can give. And it's like, you know, you have a purpose and it needs to be fulfilled and you won't fulfill it from your comfort. And that's a reminder that I had to like, you know, putting yourself out there. And it's like, at times you just don't want to because the society is not that nice. But I have learned that it's like, it's okay. You would cater to the people that actually want to listen to it or the people that actually want to be there. So for me has been last year, my vision board, I had something that said, find your spark. And it was something that I really wanted to make sure I was finding last year. Like, you got to just get out of your cocoon.
Yeah.
And you just got to be yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, I had to very much learn to like be okay with myself. And it's like, this is what I show up and this is what I give. And yeah, we're not going to sit and just watch. It's like you won't get to where you want to get from sitting there.
And I saw that last year, for sure. Like you said, even speaking, I feel like for all of you guys, like I know that that's not maybe what other people know, that it's like personality wise. I know that most of you guys here are more on the introverted or more like, you're okay doing behind the scenes. Like, you don't mind it. Like, you're like, this is fine. But I feel like I know I'm challenged.
Which I love that, though. I love that. I love how, I think you asked all of us last year. It was like, oh, was there an area that you want to grow? Okay, we're going to run with it. And do you want to join me this event? You want to do this? And it's like, you just didn't hear it. You was like, no, we're going to put it into practice. You said you wanted to speak more. Here's the opportunity. I'm giving it to you.
And she doesn't forget either. She's
like, she doesn't.
She's like, you said
That's true.
Let's circle that.
Yeah.
That's true. She
That's
does
real.
not forget.
Yeah, but I'm super proud of you guys. Yeah, side note, but I love that.
But it's good. It's good leadership. And I think that will be the one thing that She Cultivates has helped me grow. And it will be to be more outspoken, to be more open, to sit down and have conversations with people that I might not know and love more people that are not in my circle. I think She Cultivates have taught me the importance of actually cultivating and having friendships outside of your circle. And of course, there's different levels of friendships. It doesn't mean that they have to be your best friend that you talk to every single day, but it's important to love on community, and She Cultivates have really shown me that part of it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that each of those things, like you guys have had them in you, you know, from the beginning. So I feel like within us doing She Cultivates, like we're cultivating and we're working and being intentional in our areas of our life for growth, because it's like those are areas that we want to grow in. So now let's get to the tea part. What people probably want to know. What has happened behind the scenes at events? And maybe nobody would know, but we were like, everything's okay. All is well. All is well.
Wow.
I think we would never forget our first event that we did, Create and Gather.
Yes.
We show up to the venue and there was no AC. And apparently they don't turn it on the weekends. I'm like,
but no email.
No email. No one told us anything. So I think we had to send my husband to Target to buy a little fan.
And it was propped up there in the pictures, and we're like, this is fine.
It's okay.
It's fine. And thankfully, it was, I think, in November, right?
Right.
So it was a little bit on the cooler side, thankfully.
Yeah. Weather was nice, but it was like our first event. We were just like, it's okay.
So are you guys hot? Because I hope you're not. Opened a door, and hopefully you can't tell that there's like this, it was right there. Yeah. Not aesthetically pleasing. Yes.
Yeah.
What else has happened?
The couch breaking at
the
event, which was already broken.
It was already broken after you found out.
But we were freaking out, and then we were like scared attendees are gonna sit. We were like, oh my goodness.
And we were counting that as seats for people. And then we were like, well, this is
we're
safety.
short 3-4.
This is not safe.
Yeah, it is not safe.
Yes.
Because we literally turned a coffee shop into a conference.
We've gotten very creative.
We have. Honestly, coffee shops will always be our heart, though, because I feel like they're just community,
very
small,
intimate.
Yes, intimate, and that's our vibe.
Yeah.
So we're more on the micro events. That's what you call them. So we feel like, I know that I have felt like people just connect more, open more when it's like 25, 50 people versus 100, 1,000 people. You know, it's a different feel. How about for this weekend? What happened this weekend?
The Wi-Fi.
The Wi-Fi, yeah.
The
We didn't
Wi-Fi
get the
was
Wi-Fi to
not-
connect. And even when he came, it's like, it was fixed, but we're already in the
It was
event.
already like 5:30. Like, perfect. Thank you. I
Yeah.
will let
I already
everybody know
signed
now.
everyone in. So
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
ran out of water.
We ran out
We
of
had to
water.
Uber water.
Yeah, the
Yes.
fans in
The
the,
fan.
venue only had one setting. So it was like 3, 2, 1 blast off, or like you're
Literally.
sweating.
And how we were
Yeah.
doing a vision board, it was like they had all their papers. And so
everyone's
we
papers
turned,
flew.
they were flying. Yeah. I felt so
Oh, it was
bad.
and it was the hottest night.
Of
After we
course.
had
Of
a
course.
blast of
Oh,
like a winter and all that stuff.
So it's
Today's like
you
super
know,
cold, but Saturday decided to be hot. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's just been little things. I feel like every event has its challenges. You know, vendors that like cancel last minute, which happens at event, speakers that life happens and they can't show up, and we just have to adjust.
I think one of the things that maybe we learn more as we do it, and also with like the ambassador program, is how people navigate stress and
Mhm.
challenges themselves, and how
Yeah.
that shows up in an event,
Mhm.
and how you have to go through
Yes.
like a calming moment. You know what I mean? To then be able to
Regulation.
navigate. Yes,
Mhm.
self-regulate. To then be able to like navigate that on the spot.
Mhm.
You know, because that always.
Yeah, and
That
people
always
can
happens.
tell like sometimes, and you're like, wait, no. I feel like also because we do them in different venues, once like you don't know until you're there.
Yeah.
Like, what are the
Right.
things that work? What are things that don't? So I feel like sometimes that's our biggest thing. It's like, we need a venue. Like,
Yes.
we want a
Yeah.
We
venue
need a venue.
because
If you want to partner, we can speak.
if you believe in us,
Please.
If you're looking to invest in community,
We
here
might be
go.
your girls.
please, please. I know that's what we're praying for. Like, you know,
Yes.
God is going to bring someone.
Yes,
that,
he is.
Because
Yes, he
even
is.
though our events aren't faith focused, but like our heart is, you know, and like
Mhm.
we just really want to be the light, a space, like a breath of fresh air where people walk in, it's different. It's not just another networking event or another space that they just go to, like, you know, there's plenty, you know, which are amazing women groups in Orlando. But I think that is something that has been different, and hearing the feedback from people. So like, what has been the best things that you guys have heard from attendees coming that have like melted your heart?
I love when moms come. They're like, this is the first time I go out in weeks, and I was able to do my hair and I did my makeup, and this is the first time that I see people in a few weeks. I love that.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
makes it so worth it.
for sure.
Mhm.
They
Because
get to
they need
dress
that.
up.
And then you get to
I
dress
know.
up.
And they look cute.
Yeah.
And
Always,
Yes.
always with the vibes.
That's why our events are business casual. So
Yes.
you get to dress up, put the
Yeah.
bun down,
Yes.
do your hair, do
Brush
some-
it.
Yeah,
It's
brush your
like a
hair.
night for you, like
Yes.
intentionally.
Mhm.
Yes.
I think for me, and this is more for like newcomers, like I love seeing their face. Like everyone gets nervous to make it there, but they push themselves to make it.
Mhm.
And then once they're there, they're like the biggest social butterfly. And I was like,
Yeah.
And
she
they
had
leave
it-
so happy.
and they leave
I
so happy. And then
know.
it's like, it's just like their life was transformed just by a few hours with
Yeah.
us. So I
Yeah.
like, I really like anytime since I look at the attendee list,
Mhm.
I'm able to see like, oh, who's coming again that I'm gonna get to see, or like, oh, I haven't seen this person, and I get to like, they see me first as they check in, and I'm like, oh, it's your first time, and it catches them also like off guard. They're like,
Yes.
oh
How do you
wow.
know?
Or like when I
Mhm.
see that this is like your 10th event, I was like, welcome back, kind of thing. And they're like,
Mhm.
oh, she remembered.
Yeah.
So I love seeing that. Like I love seeing their
Mhm.
faces, and like how at the end they either met a friend or they interacted. They were nervous, but once they got there, they like loosened up. So I am glad that we can provide that kind of space
For
to the
sure.
community.
And the people that find us like randomly, like on TikTok or Instagram, and they're like, hey, like I found you and I wanted to go, you know? And there's also those people that drive like 2-3 hours. Like that is wild to me. That is, we've had multiple girls that have literally came from different areas because that's not in their area. And they're like, I found you. It's on a Saturday. I'm going to take the drive. And I'm like, wow. Like, first of all, I'm proud of you for showing up for yourself and doing that because that's a big risk. Like you're literally driving 2 hours by yourself somewhere. and hoping it's like
That
a
it
legit,
is.
it's a legit thing, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of trust, but I really appreciate that. And just seeing the lives that people, and even them making friends within each other, you know, seeing the collaboration, the community that's built, a lot of returning women that come, that you see the growth from them and like the comfort that now they're like, this is my place. Like, I love coming here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a She Cultivates girly, like love it. So that's really nice to see too.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. So
Yeah,
a big part of it is also because we do all these different events. You know, we want to be intentional this year of, you know, making it more intimate of like the women that come, you know, so that's exciting. So what are you guys excited about for this year?
I want to continue to see like the growth. I mean, we have grown
Mhm.
from 2021 all the way here. Like we have grown a lot. And I think that is exciting to see the journey. And I feel like people see like where we started and where we are now. So I definitely look forward to like what this year is going to bring. My mom always says like, oh, in any business, the third year is the year. So I'm waiting for that.
3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we're on the third year. What's going to happen? Like, I'm
Making
super
it.
ready to make it.
Mhm.
But I also look forward to see, like, how we continue to grow. Like, how that journey is going to look like. I think I've been trying to be very intentional of, like, let's enjoy the journey. Like, some days are not the prettiest, but that's what makes it worth it. And, like, for me, that is, like, my biggest why. It's like, yeah, the day of the event, like maybe people won't see this, but it's like we get nervous ourselves. And I can easily convince myself of like, oh my God, you're not ready for this. And it's like but once you get there and everything happens, like, oh, that wasn't that bad. Okay, we can do it again next month. And then you go through that cycle again. But I'm excited to see that. Like I'm excited who we get to partner up with, the collaborations, the new businesses that we can work with. So I'm like excited to see how that plays out.
Yeah, for sure. Because we've changed and evolved. In the beginning, we were just doing kind of like random events. And then we figured out that led to burnout and a lot of exhaustion. And that was not it. I'm like, there's no way. So then we changed that. And I feel like that's also the part of growth within us. It's like we're figuring out what works, what doesn't for us. What's making sense, because sometimes like you're like, no, this is what needs to work, but it's like, what if that's not it? What if that's not working anymore and that's not realistic for you? Like even in your budget, a lot of the first year and a half, there, like if there's missing parts, maybe someone didn't buy a ticket, something fell through, like you have to pay out of pocket. And how long can you do that for before you're like, this is not profitable, you know? So it's like there's multiple layers to it that I feel like people might not see on the outside, that it's like, oh, just events.
Right.
Really get into the event space, you know, and we're super grateful, but just being honest of like, there are days, and I've talked to each of you guys to be like, oh my God, like, how are we going to do this? Like, how long, you know, before, you know? So at least for this, now going into this year, I'm also looking forward to maybe a possible retreat, or maybe some exciting changes, podcasts, memberships, some other things in the works that we're also excited and just super grateful to do this with my friends and my family.
Still a friend.
Still a friend. Yeah. Just know that if you ever get to the place that you can, my friendship is always there. No, because honestly, we started with a larger group of women.
We did.
And that was always a check-in to be like, where are you at? Does this align with you? Are you still, because that's also something very important to like the core of who we are. It's like, you want to feel like you're a part of it, not that you're just doing a job. Because if you don't have that passion anymore, if you don't have that like my why of why I do this, like it does start feeling like that, you know. And there'll be seasons, right? Because having a business is not easy, but ultimately it's like knowing that it's like the lives we impact, the people that we touch, the people that we see, you know, and like knowing that there's like that's always my reminder of my why. So seeing this event weekend was nice because I was like, yay!
I know.
It was
a good reminder. Yeah.
Yes. Seeing them all together.
It always grounds you.
For sure. So any last thoughts or anything about She Cultivates, what you would like to share with the audience today?
Make sure you come to our February event.
Promo.
She said perfect timing for
Promo.
promo.
So I'm excited. I love our podcast live events.
Mhm.
So
I think it's a fan favorite.
it is. Jen. So make sure you sign up for that one.
Yes, limited spots for that one. So for
Yes.
sure.
And then you get to see the new rebrand.
Yes, very excited. By the time this launches, it'll be out already, but very excited for the change of everything and just being a part of it. I think that's one of our favorites. And then the vision board. And which one else do you guys love? Cultivating within. Yes, which is wellness. And then cultivating her.
Yeah,
which
I was
is
gonna
more-
say my favorite was cultivating her. I think you had sent one of the questions that what does cultivate mean to you? And when I was thinking about that last night, well, what came to mind was when we were talking about the name, like a long time ago.
2022.
2021, 2022. And the picture that comes to mind when I think of cultivate is soil. And how, as women, there's so many things that we're the foundation for, and how important it is for us and our soil to be good. So if you're a woman who's looking honestly to have the ability to cultivate your soil well, She Cultivates may be the table you want to come to, you know? There's lots of tables out there, and that's okay. Like, there's space for everyone, you know? There's space for everyone. But as women of faith, I believe God has allowed us to create this table and also extend this table for others, where maybe you can cultivate trust, you know, relationships, healing, development, networking, and all of the things, you know? So let She Cultivates be something that you also feel maybe an add to your vision board this year is to cultivate yourself, you know? And that's one of the greatest things that I like about our events, when you hear women's like, okay, I took space for me today, you know?
Yeah. Because we
Yeah.
forget ourselves.
Yeah.
In the midst of all the hats that women wear.
Yeah.
You forget to put your own hat.
Yeah. Or check in on yourself or be like, where's me? You know? So I feel like in every area, it's cultivating your best self, your community. And like how we've always said, it's like your community can be healing, it can be transformative, and the people that you have around you can literally lead you to living out your best life by encouragement, prayers, like people that are just there for you. Like, you need a shoulder? I got you. You
Yeah.
need
I got two.
You can have one.
literally. So
Yeah.
it's been, I love that. So thank you for that. And thank you guys for being a part of this conversation. Of course. So make sure to follow us as She Cultivates ORL, as well as join us at our February 21st event and also our March group. So we will be having that. They're more intimate. If you're like 40, 50 people scare you, you can level down and you meet amazing women there as well. And honestly, all our events are available to a space where you can join on a day that works for you and your schedule. And so we're just excited to cultivate our best selves in our community for 2025. So if you enjoy this conversation, share it with a friend, tag us as She Cultivates ORL, and we will see you next week.